Magda lazily watches Mikhail dress at the mirror, admiring his nakedness, still rangy in his late 50s, his weight lingering in her body's memory. He had sensually kissed along the inked vine of chalice flowers, tracing her maternity scar, something he had never done before in their long association, and she was unprepared to confront her feelings about that. She had always thought he kept his eyes closed so he would see Nadezhda, gone these 18 years, but he was particularly attentive this morning. For her part, she retreats to her soul's garden during service. Beginning to realize her desire, she regrets having done so this morning, if just a bit. Voronov has his pants and undershirt on. He holds an old sepia-toned photo of Magda and Katarina laughing, their world of joy, a moment trapped in amber, allowed to exist because it was no part of his. As she slips into it, the silken kimono whispers her secrets to any who would listen. She retrieves her thin, black cigar and reignites it, watching as the match flame catches the tip. When she looks again, he has put the photo down, carelessly, and pulls suspenders over his shirt. She goes to him, allowing her kimono to open invitingly, and welcomes his touch as he cranes to kiss her neck. She reaches down with abandoned pretense before realizing he had already returned to sartorial matters, attaching his collar. Bastard, she accuses. A ruefully regretful smile ticks the corner of his mouth. Fine, Katarina. Uru will bring her back to us. It is time she prepared to receive my legacy. Or did you raise her to be one of your sluts? He looks at her reflection in the mirror. She regards his, noting he has already put on his finger rings. There would be no relief for her this morning. Misha, not all who survive walked the Deadlands. Let's roll the opening.
All right, Connor, we're getting. I feel like we're headed downhill.
Downhill into the gully that's flooded with water, or
downhill to 4 dead Blade Runners.
It could be.
Hey, don't forget the journalist in my spinner. That makes 5 bodies.
That's true.
See? We have friends.
All right, let's get going.
Diaz, you are racing southward over the skies of Sector 12 to the LAX spaceport. There is distant lightning, which you can only think works in your favor to slow down any departures. Your sometime flame left you a message. What did she tell you?
She said that she's leaving off world, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's another seat available. Is that accurate?
Yeah, she booked you passage as well. This must have been before she came back into your life just a few days ago. And I guess there was no reason for Shriver to not have shared the information, but she has departure. I'm sorry, what's the word for it? Not orders, but release from Governor Phelan for 2. What is going through Diaz's mind right now? And his heart.
Yeah, Diaz is went from I'm never going to get another chance to figure out where this is going to go, and there's no more delaying the inevitable, to what Holden broke the news about with the Kate's involvement in some of the other things that are going on. It's crossed a line with Diaz. The line is the line. He's a career runner, LAPD. He doesn't toe that line at all. He's never needed to. He has his own ways around to circumvent some of the things that he doesn't feel comfortable doing anymore, but it still gets done. This is something he's having a hard internal battle with on how to handle Kate at this point.
The angel on your left shoulder points out, this was done during your several years break, and it was not on any case. She was not involved in any case that you were working on. So far as you guys are aware, she's not guilty of any replicant technology crime. Does that move the needle? Does that change anything?
It's black and white to Diaz. The fact that she would destroy footage to keep things from police connecting dots and from evidence being present is a huge issue in Diaz's mind.
As you sort of ruminate on this and her, would you make an insight roll? Just regular, I think. I think, and tell me if I'm reading Diaz here. I think Diaz is so focused in, so dialed in, and is losing control of his emotions somewhat, that his judgment is a little clouded, and he can't really get a read on her or the wider situation.
Agreed, 100%. And I would even go as far as to say, if there's not an autopilot on this spinner and he's in full control of accelerator, he is maxing this thing out, not paying attention to safety and general spinner traffic safety. I don't know how to call it, but he's getting a little reckless.
Holden's last words to you, don't do anything stupid, still, I don't know, echoes in the vaults, maybe the background. And as you're watching your speed, you realize, of course, that the spinner is low jacked and they can follow your movements. Is this something that you want to try to change, or are you fine with it?
I don't think he's thinking about that right now. Even if he was paying attention to it, I don't think he'd care. He's got tunnel vision.
Right. A voice comes over your comms. It's an official message, so it cuts right through. LAPD 972, this is LAX Control. You have entered restricted airspace. Descend to 0 elevation and continue inbound via civilian corridor.
I follow direction, don't acknowledge verbally at all.
Okay. Shriver, you are in the skies over Sector 5 with a lovely young journalist in your passenger seat, Libby Esposito. It's kind of a unplanned, spur of the moment thing. You met her. You two met at a noodle shop, and she spun you. Was it an unlikely story? Was it an intriguing story?
I mean, it tracked. The idea of her nosing too close to things and people wanting to shut it down. I bought the story.
Okay. Libby, all you see of her as you sort of steal some glances over, she seems to, all you see is her flame red hair as she is scrolling furiously through some of the latest consumer tech, muttering to herself about, it just doesn't make sense. I'm missing something.
I drive a bit longer, reach down. I tap the mute on Fife, which has just been nattering this whole time. That's my
I think she
DD.
freaks out a little bit. She's like, oh, what the hell is that?
Yes, the ebony hand holding a cigarette and with a little voice that's just constantly ridiculing me in not nice ways. Yeah. Did she react to that? Oh, huh. Okay.
My AI self-esteem.
I just love the fact that Shriver has externalized that, right?
I do too. I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah, that is a thing. Okay, but he mutes it with a bit of a strange look at Fife. Glances over, swerves back into traffic. What? We've got another hour or so at least. What?
Where are you headed? Are you headed to Sector 12?
Yeah.
So I think Detective Shu and Kai had pretty much put out the call for everybody to sort of congregate in Sector 12, which is where LAX is. And also at LAX, rising out of the concourse is Hotel Madison, which is where Michael Voronov, who is the Batya or the godfather of the Cherny Barrick Syndicate, actually has his apartments. So he lives effectively in LAX. That's all. That's general knowledge on background. You can get it from Ukiah, but I think also, if I failed to mention it, it is something that Oshua McMillan, who Shu and Kai interrogated last session, would have told them.
And I think we knew that when he told us that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's if it's not well known, it's not hidden.
Yeah, but I think the call that Kai and I put out is to, like a general meeting place that's about a half a block from this warehouse. So yeah.
So Libby continues. I mean, so the sympathizer demonstrations, it's being astroturfed. This sort of groundswell of a grassroots support, but nobody has that kind of power or leverage. So Jael Schuyler, who is, as everyone knows, the sort of the face, a spokesman of the Human First movement, he made that argument on the show, and I started looking into it, and he's right. There's a correlation between the movement, the momentum of the movement, and some of these events, such as your mystery replicant coming into town. But it just seems to be several different cases that fit together somehow, but I'm not seeing it. She also lets drop. When you actually, let's have her say, when your Nexus 8 replicant, mystery replicant comes into town, which is not the case. From Diaz's sat crystal that Mirren sort of repaired, that Reyes, who is starting some mischief in town, was developed by Canaan Energy Industries using DNA from a Nexus 6 that somehow lived past his 4 years that self-destruct that was built in. Using his DNA crossed with some sort of Nexus prototype that Tyrell was working on. It wasn't called a Nexus 7. It was just called this weird sort of prototype code. But it was something Tyrell was working on between the Nexus 6s and the Nexus 8s. So Rays actually predates the Nexus 8s. Even though he was created after. His DNA and his code was all established from sort of this older template.
All right, I haven't looked at everything you have. But when the patterns and the pieces don't fit together, when you're missing something, it's time to take a second and imagine what would make it fit. You don't always find the piece. Sometimes you figure the piece. You're still assuming a Nexus 6, a Nexus 8. Now let me tell you, if you've got something that's somewhere in between. Imagine what that would be. What sort of replicant pulls this together? And why are they doing it?
Interesting you said that. Actually, I don't think it requires an insight roll. When you say that, I think you and she both come to the same realization at the same time. There's a puppet master. That doesn't actually happen in the real world, does it? Kai and Shu, how are we getting to Sector 12? You're basically on the same timetable as Shriver.
Well, Shu, do you want to drive and I ride on the back of the bike?
So I think I made it very clear to you in a very polite sort of way that I'll meet you there. So I would not indicate that I don't want to ride with you. Just I've got a few more things I want to check on. But you'll beat me there. But I won't be there much later than you.
Okay. And I'm gonna head off, but take my time.
And Connell, I think that I've been thinking about this. I think I have a particular cabbie. I have his card. Old guy, real old guy that he never has his available light on because he has now picked up a wide enough clientele that he essentially is private. And what I use him for now, and what's an unstated beauty of his service is what is said in the cab stays in the cab. And I feel like he's a bit of a sounding board for me. Okay. Borderline therapist, where I can just throw up anything I want and throw it all out there. And he may or may not say a single word or two, but somehow I feel like I figure things out in the process of riding in his cab. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So let me set the scene. Because you're at ground level, right? Mm-hmm. And it's completely different from the way it looks in the air. Especially in these strange days when there are pro-replicant rights demonstrations popping up all over the city. As a matter of fact, Shriver and Libby, as you are flying over Sector 5, it's unmistakable. Occasionally, flames will erupt from a detonation at various parts of the city, and the chatter on the official channels is showing sort of this chaotic there's no pattern to the chaos, actually, which is what makes it chaos, which leads, I think, Shriver to believe that maybe there is a hidden pattern there. But as you flag your cabbie, you've been watching it, and one of these demonstrations is just sort of beginning to burble up like a spring. And the mood turns well, it's palpable, right? You can feel the tension beginning to seethe. And as you reach for the unlocked door, as your cabbie unlocks the door, you hear a little girl's voice, young lady. Shoo! Shoo!
I open the door and I go, Greybolt's going to be like, just stay right here. Start the meter. And I shut the door and I turn to her.
Well, you do not see her, but if you would make an observation roll. But you don't see her near you. You do see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, let's take a step back. You can't locate her just yet, but you have an idea of where she is because of her voice. So
Yeah,
you may push this roll, but you were about to say. So tell me what
that's what I was going to say. I was going to push it. So I hear the voice, and I'm like, and I was hoping to close the door on Greybolt's cab and turn and see her within eye shot of me, right? And I close it, and I don't see her, and I'm like, I kind of tap the window a little bit, like I'll be right back. I see the meters running, so Greybolt doesn't give a shit. And I'm going to start walking towards where I heard the voice. So I would like to push this.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you were a replicant, you could push it twice, but it's for more successes. One success is not a critical, but you do locate her. Okay. And it looks like you catch sight of her as she is she's dodging some legs because she's 12, 13.
Yep. And
then she disappears again, but you definitely have a direction.
All right. I'm really annoyed at you right now, Connell. So I have to find her. I have to find her.
That's true.
Especially, and it was a situation, if it was just a demonstration, she's a kid, she's a smart kid, she'd be okay. But I can tell that this thing could take a right turn at any moment, right, and she would be in danger. So
remind us, what is your association with Sarah?
With Sarah,
the young girl.
So I'm sorry. Yeah. So I came across her at first at the original site where we found the original crime scene of the White Tiger, and initially she was just another witness, another person to interview. What made me initially feel drawn to her was I picked up how keenly she was taking in the environment. I could tell that she was a person who inherently keeps her head on a swivel, which is obviously why she has survived this long at this age. And that it made me give an affinity to her. Then when I showed her a little bit of kindness, a little bit of affection, her reaction and her bonding to me was a vulnerability I didn't know I had. So I have very strong paternal feelings towards her. Not a need to become a part of her life by any stretch of the imagination, but I also made it very clear to her if she ever needs something, like, I am a resource for her. And I, in my head, wrote it like, well, I need another bird in the field, right? I need one more person out there that I can rely on to give me information. But the reality is that I care more about her than I probably even realize myself.
So with that, I think maybe your mind goes to the worst, and the call sounds like a young woman young girl calling for aid. So you follow her as best you're able. You keep gaining sight and losing her. And then you see her duck down an alley.
Okay, follow. Don't hesitate.
You turn into the alley. It is between two storefronts, each branded with neon lights, yellow, green, just this grotesque colored shadows that splash on the side of your face. The alley itself it's not Stygian. It's just sort of monochromatic gray. She is being held by an older woman, probably in her early 20s, with a knife, while two other thugs are flanking them, waiting for you to come into the alley.
So as I turn in, see this situation, I very smartly pause my initial instinct. And I reach to my belt and I pull out my badge and I put it up in front of me and I put my other hand up. I said, LAPD. Put her down. I don't have my gun out or anything. I'm flashing the badge and just hands up.
One of the thugs, he's just sort of dressed in probably the latest trendy fashion, street fashion, which is, let's give it a name. How about I'll just call it inner thug, inner city thug. We know who you are. We know what you do. He has a length of chain, while his other armed compatriot just has looks like two clubs one in either hand.
Clip the badge back, put both hands up, and I go, look, you inner wannabe. Let her go, and I'll stay here, and we can have whatever discussion you want to have. But whatever you're looking for, you're not going to get as long as you're holding her. And the longer you hold her, the less chance you have of walking out of this alley alive. I'll tell you anything. I don't give a shit. Let her go, and I'm an open book. What do you need?
We need you. Because it's open season on Blade Runners now.
Great, let her go.
And of course, she's struggling. She bites the hand of the lady holding her.
Sarah, Sarah, I got this, Sarah. Just you want to take me out? Let her go. I won't even reach for my gun.
She didn't even. She's on your side. We're gonna make her watch. And then maybe the streets will decide her fate.
I'm going to say this one more time. You're going to let her go. And then I will give you whatever you need and whatever you want. If you don't let her go, I'm going to get what I need and what I want. It's still my body language is very submissive, very...
I don't think they're going to. I think we're going to go into combat.
Yeah, I think we are too. I'm going to take a half a second, if I have it, to just quickly get on the Kia and just say, going to be a few minutes late. To Kai, but then leave it open. Leave the comm open at that point.
If you leave it open, I'll stop where I'm riding to just to listen.
Okay.
Yeah, we might need some figuring out where we are relative to him.
Yeah, you've got the locator and everything. You have no trouble knowing where I am. I really am tired of Shriver coming to help me when I get into problems. Don't like this.
You're not the only one.
Besties.
If you would be so kind as to pull your initiative card. Should have given you first. And Sarah is a non-combatant, so she will be...
All right, so I pulled 4. All right, so Street Thug 1 and 2 go first, and then me, and then Street Urchin, it looks like.
So in Blade Runner Combat, you have basically a movement action and a combat action, and you can do them in any order. You can break your movement up. It's very sort of a free-form system. There are certain things that you can only do during your movement, such as going from standing to prone or changing your position. I think they are... I think Thug number 1 is the one with the chain. I think he's going to move into position while the other one is just going to sort of be in between.
Okay.
Allowing you to draw and fire if that's what you wish, or...
Yeah, I'm drawing and firing at the woman. So I realize I've got 2 big threats here, but giving Sarah an opportunity, even if I don't hit her, hopefully give Sarah the opportunity to get to escape from her.
Now, I do think because of the darkness and the woman being sort of away at a distance, you may be at a disadvantage to that. Let's actually. So let me point out because ranges are a thing in the Blade Runner combat system. The Street Thug number 1 with the chain is within short distance, so you would be disadvantaged to hit him. Yep. You would be at a normal normal attack to hit the guy with the tonfa, and I think because she's holding Sarah and she is in the dark, you would be at a disadvantage to hit the woman.
Is it so obvious to me, Connell, that I would know that this would be foolish to shoot at her? Would I point the gun at her and do the count? Is it so obvious that I would go, shit? All right, so I'm going to turn to normal. I'm going to turn to Chain Boy, who I think you said was in normal ranges, or was it?
Well, the Tonfa boy is going to be at normal. The guy who is closest to you would be at the disadvantage.
All right, so I'm going to shoot at our normal.
Assuming that you're firing either the 44 caseless, which is your big round for your Blade Runner blaster, or the sonic round, which is sort of the non-lethal version.
So it's shoot to kill here. So it's the big one.
44.
Yep. And I'll be using my 357. Now it says range. Oh, go ahead.
The 357. I'm sorry. I assumed you were using your blaster. If you have a 357,
I do.
Then it's probably your backup, which is
I don't have my blaster in my inventory. Hold on.
Oh, well, let me see.
Yeah, all I show is my 357.
But we can
inventory or weapons list.
I don't even see it in either.
Okay.
You chose the subcompact. I can give you. Let me get the blaster real quick. Cool. Actually, though, if you use your subcompact, the guy with the chains is not at
so let's do
disadvantage.
Yeah, let's do that. So I'll use the 357 to get the jerk face that's closest to me.
All right. Well, so if you're not familiar with the Foundry app for Blade Runner, you'll go to the combat tab.
Yep.
And locate the item card, and then just hit that roll item.
Yep. And it's not out of range, small target, large target, but not behind cover. Careful aim. I would need.
Careful aim would take an entire turn.
All right. So we're not going to do that. So everything is just as is. We're going to roll it. Gosh, blasted mother stinker.
What went wrong?
It is my hesitation. It was me drawing it on her. First of all, figuring out which gun I was going to pull. That took a fraction of a second. me pulling the 357, realizing she can't be my target because that would be foolish, and quickly moving towards him and pointing at him. So I lost a half a second.
You can push if you'd like.
Oh, I will. Yeah.
So you correct, and so I see that you have done 1 base damage. So you do 2 points of damage and a crit because they don't not have armor. So why don't you? I can hit the
Let's
crit
roll
for
that
you.
crit.
This is
Draw
new.
size 1, formula D8, critical injuries piercing, hand impaled critical injury.
So I think he drops the chain. Let's see. So the woman, seeing that blood has been spilled, grabs Sarah a little tighter, threatens a little more with a knife, and retreats back to the end of the alley.
Okay.
So the guy that you hit, I think he's had enough. So looks like he's edging to the moving to the edge of the alleyway and trying to get around you to run away.
I let him go.
Okay. The guy with the tonfa, however, I think is going to move and attack. Hand to hand. The tonfa will only do 1 point of damage. You are, however, wearing armor, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that is correct. Police undershirt, D8 armor.
So roll that, and it should roll 2, I believe, D8s.
Let's see. All right, it's not letting me roll off of combat.
All right, let me see here.
You know why? Because I don't think No, that's there, right? So hold on. Let me just see if there's a action, sprint, throw, weapon, crawl. Use item? Nope.
Are you using the HUD or the character sheet?
Character sheet.
So it's under combat.
Yep, I see armor.
And then it should have if you hover over the armor card, it should have a roll armor button.
It doesn't for some reason. Oh,
well, I did that for you. And
thank you, sir.
Yeah, he swings unaware that you were wearing the armor, and it just bounces off.
Yeah, I turn, knowing I'm wearing it, I pull my arms in and roll my back towards him so that my back takes the majority of the hit, knowing I've got that armor wrapped around me.
Well, he has put himself in a rather awkward position. It is your turn, sir.
Did she just retreat and stop, or is she still going?
No, she's it's a dead end alleyway.
Okay.
And she has gone to the back. There's probably some refuse, some trash cans that she is not barricading, but feels safer in her own element, I suppose.
Go ahead, Kai.
When can I start being on my way here?
To Sector 12 or to the alleyway?
To shoe and a gunshot.
You can double back, but I think this is happening so fast that I think that you won't be there for a couple more rounds at least.
Works for me.
So my initial instinct was to run towards her, but once I realized she's not the only way out for her is through me, I've turned my back. I've taken the chain to the back, and I'm coming around and as point blank as I can get. I'm going to shoot him in the face.
All right, let it go.
So it'll still be the 357.
Yep.
That's what I have armed.
Still normal.
Okay. I like the 33 apparently.
So you haven't squeezed off a shot yet. I think your arm, as you turn, the glancing blow off of your shoulder, you turn and you're getting a little bit tangled up.
Yep.
So is it your intention to push?
It is. So I realize as I come around that I'm actually moving forward. I catch myself from falling from the impact, bring the gun back up again to fire.
You know, I just realized you should have gotten a defense roll on the hand-to-hand. So this is actually the first time we've had full-out combat, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm a little rusty.
that's all right.
So we'll
But it
remember to
didn't
give you your hand-to-hand for the next.
Yeah,
Next
no harm, no
attack.
foul. I didn't get hurt.
All right. So you, with one success, you just do is it subcompact only damage of 1? Yep.
Yeah, base damage 1, but piercing. I don't know if that matters.
It matters for crits.
Right.
So we move. Did you want to move for your other action? No, he
yeah.
will get an attack at you if you turn your back or try to move past him.
Yeah, I'm going to try to move past him and
Okay.
move closer to her, bring the thing to her. Just, say to him, your friend's running too.
All right. So this one, you won't get an attack on defense against this one because you're moving past him.
Yep.
But you do get your armor roll still.
All right. I think you still need to do that for me, unfortunately.
All right. That's so weird.
That is weird.
Pop this up and no problem. Once again, just bounces right off your rib cage.
Yep.
Seeing that you are coming for her, she throws Sarah onto the ground
Smart move.
and tries to vacate around you. Do you want to try to prevent that?
I do.
Okay. You don't get a shot, but you can try to tackle her or...
I'm going to football just hit her and try to ram her into the wall.
Go ahead and make a hand-to-hand combat roll.
All right, so let's go to... I have
You
to
just
hit.
need a single success.
All right, let's see.
More successes are better, of course.
Unarmed
We'll take
attack,
one.
right? Or melee attack or unarmed attack? Unarmed attack, right?
Unarmed.
Does
Well,
she get-
unless you use your pistol. If you try to pistol whip her, that would be melee.
Let's
whichever
do
is-
that. Yeah.
Okay. Whichever is most...
What were we going to say, Schreiber?
does she get a defensive roll of some kind?
No, because she's moving. Her move action is taking her past him, and therefore he gets a free attack.
All right, there's my freebie. And that's just me like throwing my body in the butt of my gun to stop her from moving. So try to crush her between me and the wall.
I think it connects against her temple, but her momentum carries her past, and she's going to make her way out of the alley, leaving you with just one. We're going to say that you can get a shot off her at her on this next round if you wish.
Yeah.
Well, he is gone, so we're going to remove him. So I think this guy is, however, going to move back into position and attack you again. So you do get to roll hand-to-hand combat.
Okay. Well, he likes the single successes. All right, so in this case, would it be again melee attack or
No, just unarmed
just
for this
unarmed?
one,
Okay.
or
Yep.
whatever. Hand-to-hand.
All right, I match him.
So you two are scuffling, and I imagine that there are some flurries of blows. Describe Shu's combat style.
Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a lot of, yeah, for me, and what makes it worse is I'm trying to keep one eye on Sarah this entire time. So it's like, you're annoying me. So it's a lot of, him throwing at me and me just, pushing it towards my armor as much as I can, me pushing him away. I'm not even trying to hurt him at this point. What I'm really hoping is that if I keep pushing him away from me, that he's going to get the hint that he needs to run away with his other two comrades, because there's nothing to be won here anymore. My fighting style is dirty and messy. I will
Shu
go-
himself.
Yeah, I will grab him in the scrotum if I have the opportunity. I will spit in his eye. I'll give him a wet willy. Whatever needs to happen, I'll do it.
No, I think I like that. So yeah, you've cuffed him, and while it didn't do any, say, lasting damage, it made him back up a little bit. It is your attack, your turn in the initiative order.
So I'm gonna
So-
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say you have 2 targets. You have him and the back of the woman who is running.
So, gun pointed right at him as I'm walking backwards towards Sarah, going, run. And if he doesn't give me any indication he's running, then he's going to get shot.
I think he looks a little bit beyond you and then does run.
Okay.
Kai, as you are dialing in on Shu's position, you see a frightened woman in her 20s just sort of running towards you, not at you, just in your direction. And another gentleman comes out of an alleyway a few paces behind her. Will very quickly overtake her, though. He's grabbing his groin.
And one of the things that I'm going to do during all of this is, knowing that there's a possibility, hopefully Kai, not Shriver, is already on the scene. I'm going to, in a very obvious way, go, you better run. But that's more to Kai and Shriver than it is to them.
Oh,
Shu takes care of business.
doing a quick check. Does either one of them look like the leader, Kai?
I don't think it's crucial enough to call for an insight roll. I would say no. They look kind of just street scum.
Then the male street scum, I will hit him gently with my spinner bike as I come to a halt.
Make a driving roll.
Okay.
Or is this just for effect, or are you actually trying to take him down?
I don't want to kill him. Just maim him.
Yeah, I think if you really do want to do some damage, it would require a driving roll.
Okay.
So Shu, you turn around and you see that Sarah has retrieved the knife that the street urchin had been holding against her, and she holds it in a very way that is unsettlingly familiar. She is holding it in an unsettling, familiar way. Like she knows this is not her first time holding. This is not her first time holding a knife, and she has a look of a murderer. More directed, you assume, towards the her prior captors.
Yep.
So you begin to fishtail. Is that? I thought you had a better driving skill than that.
No, it won't. Like, I select it, and it just gives me 1d6.
That's because you have to. Do
the minute. Yeah. There's a maneuverability. You know, I think we can say that you just sort of fishtail into him. You knock him back into the street, where he is almost stampeded by protesters or demonstrators.
And what I would really love, if it's possible, is as I'm running towards her, I kind of look back and I see his body flying through the opening of the alleyway, and I'm like, please be Kai, please be Kai.
And then you realize you don't hear the music.
Right.
Sarah tells you that they had been holding her captive for almost a day, just walking around the city, listening to scanners, trying to figure out where you were. They must have seen us at the talking at the park that one day.
I'm going to scoop her up and lift her up, and I'm gonna not say anything. I'm just going to take the knife out of her hand. And
does it make a difference that she puts up a little bit of resistance first?
No, I expect that, right? As I'm lifting her up, I'm like, it's okay, and if she wants to hit me or whatever, I get that. She's freaked out, but I'm going to lift her up and take the knife out of her hand.
I don't think she's as freaked out as she is angry.
Yep.
But when you begin to sort of give her a little bit of emotional support, I
Yeah.
think she doesn't know how to take it. She doesn't fight after her initial resistance of what the hell you doing, essay. I think it's like, maybe that Rocket Raccoon moment when when Drax is, petting the scruff of the neck. Okay, that's kind of nice.
And I recognize her anger. Actually, have lived that anger. So as I pull her close to me, I say, "They'll pay. It's okay." And I just pull her close, and I'm going to now head towards the mouth of the alleyway where I know somebody has arrived.
You taking her with you?
Correct.
I assume? Okay. Kai, you are rejoined with Shu and a young lady you have seen before but did not interact with. You were both at the park when you met her, so she has seen her. She just hasn't.
Oh,
spoken
Sarah.
with
Okay.
Sarah.
All right,
Yeah.
Not the knife woman. Okay, got it.
Oh no, she's gone.
Oh, that was fast, you.
Yeah, a little unexpected, and I kind of look to make sure that Grable is still there. And now I'm like super conflicted, right? Like now I've got 4 things to do and only time to do 2 of them. I'm going to hand Sarah to you, Kai. Even though she's like 13 or 12, I'm going to hand her to you like she's a toddler.
Okay.
And I'm going to descend on our friend that just got fishtailed.
Okay.
And it is 357 in his mouth. And if I have to pierce his mouth open, I will. And I just go, who?
Make a manipulation check at advantage.
Ooh.
I think you have the wisdom of years of living on the street to widen your stance a little bit as a river of piss just flows down his leg. They just... Oh, he's saying this around the short muzzle of a 357 subcompact.
I'm giving him just enough to talk, but not much more than that.
They just said go after... just said go after the Blade Runners, man.
To do what? To kill us?
Yeah, it's payback.
Okay. Did they pay you yet?
The look in his eyes tells you that no, he was not savvy enough to make a contract for money.
You're an idiot. This is your freebie. Get the hell out of here. I swear to God, if I see your face again at a store, I'm going to shoot you. Do you understand?
He nods.
And I'm going to like kick his ass literally until he gets up and runs away.
I think it only takes one.
Yeah.
But it's clear that Sarah wants to run after him with the knife. And it's only by, I assume, Kai holding her back that she... or no, maybe Kai's of a different mind.
I will hold her back.
So I'm going to come up to you, Kai, and as I'm walking towards you, hopefully her back is to me, as you kind of holding her. I'm just going to silently just say thank you, which is super uncharacteristic of me. I don't know if I've ever used those 2 words together at once. And I'm going to walk up to you, and I'm just going to say, meet them at the warehouse. I just need 10 minutes.
You said that last time. I'll wait down the street.
But call them. Let them know we're still meeting at the warehouse.
Of course.
And then I'll take Sarah from her, but put her down and get on one knee.
I will go down the street and wait a second and call my other two and say, hey, we're going to be a bit late. We ran into a bit of trouble. Also, just a heads up, someone called for the hit of Blade Runners.
Good call.
You know what else is uncharacteristic? Shu winning a fight.
Okay. That was not necessary, and you're lucky this is live, or I would edit that out.
Hey, everybody's got a character arc, right? He got there.
Sarah seems to be now that her anger has somewhat abated, lacking a target to lash out at. She looks longingly at Kai riding away on a spinner cycle. So you got down on one knee. Did I understand that correct?
Yeah.
You're going to address her.
Yep. This is on me. I am a very expensive friend, and I'm sorry. But hopefully you also see that I will always take care of my friends. Do you have a safe place to go? And I've pulled us back into the alley so that whatever
sure.
chaos is happening with these freaking demonstrators is not part of this conversation.
So she's there. I think she actually had in her front pocket. She's got these oversized sunglasses that she slips back on,
Nice.
and she just shakes her head silently or wordlessly.
It shakes her head like, no, I don't.
No, yeah, she.
Let's say. I'm not trying to take you from everybody you care about, but for right now, because you're my friend, I need to make sure you're safe. We're going to go. We're going to get in a cab. I'm going to take you to a place that has the best pancakes you've ever had. You're going to be there for a couple days, and then you can do what you want to do. But I just need you off the streets for a day or two. Do you understand me?
She nods.
Have you ever had real chocolate?
I don't know that you've ever had real chocolate. No, she says no.
Okay, good, because this isn't real chocolate, but it tastes a lot like real chocolate. They put little chips in these pancakes. And I'm going to hold her hand in a more like equals sort of way, so not in a paternal or childlike way, but and take her to the cab where Grable is.
Okay. And so I am a little confused. Are you taking her with you, or are you taking her to drop her off somewhere?
So I'm taking her with me. I'm going to tell Grable we need to go to, and I've got a contact, I think, somewhere, Connell, that
Sure.
is just, this is a person that I can drive another person to and say, hold them for a couple days. And they know to take care of whoever, no questions asked. I reimburse them and everything, but it's a safe house, essentially. I'm imagining old woman who just loves taking care of people and it also enjoys the juice that I give her as a result. And that's we're gonna stop off there before we head towards the warehouse.
Okay.
We go with that?
Yeah.
I'm following
Give
the
yourself
cab.
give yourself a humanity point.
Happy to.
Actually, give yourself two. One for interacting with your key relationship, which is Sarah, and one for doing something humane, something that I think enriches the soul. So Shriver, let's go back to you. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Let me pivot to Kai real quick. Are you so you're gonna head to Sector 12 without Shu?
No, I'm following Shu's
Okay.
car. I just heard that now they want Blade Runner's head, and he's just a beacon for trouble.
And while I'm driving with Grable, Grable says to me, he goes, "So what's going on, Shu?" I'm like, "Well, we'll talk about that in a second. I need you to take me to Samantha's." And he knows who Samantha is because this is not the first time this has happened. And I'm kind of looking in his rearview mirror, and I see we're taking a right. Kai takes a right. We take a left. And I get out my key and I go, "I can see you."
If I wanted to hide, you would not see me.
Where we're going, HQ doesn't know about.
I don't even know what you're talking about, Shu.
God, my affection towards Kai just keeps going up a little bit more and more. I don't say anything. I don't do anything. We're good.
So let me pivot back to Shriver and Libby real quick. So you are now heading south towards Sector 12. You are well in advance of Kai and Shu when you get the message that it's open season on Blade Runners. So
cruising towards the warehouse. That was where I was given. Sounds like Kai wrapped up Shu's business, so that's all good.
Are you working on this puppet master problem?
We're probably kicking it back and forth. Shriver would be playing, is maybe not the right mode, but not going into his usual deep dive. Doing something a bit odd for him and actually just asking questions for somebody else to answer and letting her do the work.
Well, what do you ask her? Let's compare notes.
So when last we left off, we were just getting into the idea of, okay, so this doesn't fit, right? This pattern's not right. What's the piece that would be missing that would make it right? Imagine the cog that fits all of this and makes the engine turn. And we were getting to conclusions like this doesn't actually fit. All of these pieces don't pull together for just a Nexus running around. So who else profits from this?
Are you going to tell her that Raze is not a Nexus 8?
Not yet.
Okay. So she is still operating under, I think, insufficient information. Ask me as a GM, what is missing from the picture for you that Shriver might sort of guide her towards?
It's a lineup of usual suspects.
Okay.
Yes. We have the agent, we have the gun. That's Rise. He's the weapon. But who's drawn the weapon? Who's loaded it? Who's pointing it? And now that's the lineup of usual suspects. Of course, Wallace, has got to be in there. All the major corps. And then there are the politicians that benefit. Hell, even the Blade Runners benefit in a way. So Shriver is going through that usual suspects and pointing Libby at that.
Well, Raze is, from what you tell me, so he's just seems to be going down the list, a revenge list. And then he starts he stops to start a riot, which is not directed towards anyone in particular. It just seems to be this general destruction that he's after. And I mean, looking at what you've got, if he was this super soldier, I mean, he would fall back on a mission, but what's his mission? I mean, there has to be, unless he's just completely switched. He has to. I mean, he still has to have revenge on his mind. So who's left?
Well, there's still good 2 targets at least. You've got a soldier, feels abandoned. He's got his old enemy, Wallace. And then he's got the people that left him there, the government.
So Wallace made him and not Tyrell?
I thought she was up on at least the military background. And that
Only what you have told her, and you have not told her that he was a Nexus 7. So I have
Okay.
gone around that part of it.
this unit, he was part of
In
the-
lore terms, the implication is that Tyrell would have made Nexus 8s.
Got it.
If that was a piece that y'all are missing as players. So the Tyrell made the Nexus 8s. The replicant prohibition went into effect. No more Nexus 8s were made. A few years later, Wallace Corp came to power and bought all the patents that, because Tyrell in the interim had gone bankrupt, they bought all the patents and started making Nexus 9s.
Right.
What was the name of our Frankenstein in
Mhm.
in all this? I can't remember his name. I think
The
we
actual
picked-
doctor.
yeah.
making it?
I can't.
Penfield, Dr. Trace Penfield.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Penfield was also working for Canaan, right? Wasn't this a batch of Canaan?
So, no. As you can put it all together, as you have put it all together, Penfield was working with the Anteleos Corporation, and Diaz's Squeeze was running the Black Goo to help him in his experiments.
Right. But the original unit, the creating of Rise, wasn't that as part of a military unit that was operating for Canaan Corp?
Canaan, yes. It was the private security, if you want to couch it in those terms. No, not a recognized military.
So I'll drop that much for her is, look, this guy came out of an unregulated war. A unit coming out of Canaan. I know you don't hear about those very often. Running up against Wallace units. Didn't go well.
Actually, she says, one of the few benefits for working for state media is I actually have access to UN files. And she, once again, I've already shared it with you, but the file from the UN about their response to Canaan's failed incursion on Shenyang, which is a planet near the Tannhauser Gate, which is essentially what all of this seems to have been about. Money. It's always about money, right? So she says, actually, I have some UN information.
Care to share?
Yep. So what would you like to know? What haven't I told you that is sort of out there?
So he would basically go back and forth, sharing some notes over what he has of it, which is his understanding is that essentially there was an opportunity for the government to step in, and they just let it fizzle out. There was an opportunity for Kanan to maybe try and get their people out or try to save the unit, and they're like, nah, let that unit go. So he's basically been betrayed by everybody in sequence. And so I would just be cross-checking that hit list because, again, I'm going through the usual suspects, which is also the usual targets sometimes with her. So if she has anything to add to that story.
I think after you sort of go over all those details, the only hole missing in your case is who ultimately supplied the black goo for these experiments to cure Nexus 8 replicants. And so who supplied it and what is his role? I mean, he seems to be, whoever that is the puppet master.
Of current
He's
events?
the only one you cannot account for.
All right.
So give yourself a humanity point and a promotion point.
Okay.
Is there anything else before we go to Diaz?
I suppose not. I'm still headed towards the factory. Or the warehouse.
Yeah, warehouse 10. Diaz, you descend to ground elevation and you're heading down this 2-lane highway into LAX spaceport. As you draw nearer, passing the first security checkpoint, you still see some far-off heat lightning. As you approach closer, though, you see in the near distance, the spaceport itself is broken into just 2 concourses, and rising out of the middle of this sort of globular structures, each of the concourses is sort of domed, is a spire that reaches into the lower atmosphere above LAX. It is the Hotel Madison. It is barely barely seen against this the night sky, and because it is so thin in profile, it just looks like a blade rising out of a hilt of a sword. So you just want to try to go in and locate Kate?
Yeah, use whatever resources I have at my disposal to locate where and how Kate is trying to get off world.
Make a manipulation roll at advantage. As you probably go to this kiosk, it's automated. You're not getting anywhere with that, so you go to probably somebody behind the desk. Oh, really? You had 2d6s for manipulation?
See, what had happened was, yes, it's a. My empathy is a D rating, and manipulation
You're
is
right.
the same. So
you may push this, but let's go through this real quick. Well, there's really only 2 concourses, right? There's a departure and arriving. So you know she must be heading towards the departure. What specific information did you want from this desk person?
I think if anything, Diaz tries to throw his badge around asking for specifics without going through the proper channels. And I just look like a madman trying to... I'm probably stuttering and falling over my own words, using, cop jargon that this desk person has no freaking clue what the hell I'm talking about.
Do you wish to push this?
Yeah. Surely I must be able to roll a 6. kidding.
You're detained by
Whoa! It comes in red.
airport security.
I thought
didn't know
these
we could
little
get red
animals were
horses.
successes, right? No.
You hear a voice behind you, very efficient, confident voice. I'm sorry, sir. May I help you? You turn. It is, of course, the head of security.
Perfect. I need. I'm Officer Diaz. I need information on where Kate is departing from.
Kate, sir.
Yeah. You know Kate. Kate.
So he
I'm
motions
acting
you
as
to.
if the two failures. By the way, this is.
He motions for you to walk as you two talk, and hits at a agonizingly slow pace for you. Detective, how may we help you? I don't know this Kate.
Surely you must have access to itineraries and who's scheduled for when and where and how. I need to get either my eyes on that, or I need you to connect me with what concourse or which gate number I can meet someone that I'm trying to locate right now.
Well, if she is departing, she would be at the departures concourse. But
Thank you.
and he stops you here, as I think he turns to look at you. As any traffic which is slight, some of it motorized, carrying parcels, other travelers are going back and forth. Is this official business, sir?
Yes, it is.
Let me see here.
You can roll better than I can.
Jeez, no kidding.
I think he looks sympathetic. My office is right here. This would just take a moment. Would you follow me, please?
I'm going to pause him right there. And he has a name tag or something, I imagine?
Yeah. Name him if you'd like.
Officer Doofy. 1 second, sir. And I'm going to get on my Kia, and I'm going to attempt to make some sort of connections roll, in that I don't have my book in front of me, but there's somebody at headquarters that I can use some points to help get me access to, or to press this Officer Doofy to support me in whatever request I have in front of me.
You can go straight to the top if you want to talk to Holden. I mean, you are pals.
Yes. How about you, Holden? Do I need a promotion point to spend or something?
Very possibly 2, and maybe even a roll. We'll see. But I believe you have a talent, a specialty, correct? That will allow you to roll at advantage?
Correct, yeah.
I told you not to do anything stupid, Diaz.
I haven't done anything stupid, Holden, but I need to get to Kate before she goes off world. You just dropped a bombshell on me that now I need to find out more information.
It's a self-correcting problem, Diaz. Let her go, and it's no more. It's not a problem of ours.
This is the last favor I'm going to ask of you, Holden.
Let's see. I will tell you what. Spend me a yen and a promotion, and I don't think you have to roll for it, because I do think, as we sort of flash back to episode 1 or 2, you and Holden, you were in his office and you shared a drink, and he gave you a photograph of you, him, and Marlowe, who was a Blade Runner who is no longer with us. Fine. Make this count, Diaz. And just consider that maybe it's time to move on to the private sector. You notice that Dufu, whatever you named him,
I'm trying to remember. Doofy
does get a call on his communications device, and he is speaking as you approach him. He hangs up, looks somewhat incredulous. How may we help you, detective? And I think that's a good spot to take a break.
I agree. We are back.
All right. Welcome back. So, Diaz, you now have the cooperation of the head of security.
Officer Doofy, sorry to pull that card, but can you show me where Kate Holloway,
Kate Holloway.
Holloway, thank you. Where she's scheduled to depart from?
Well, I can take you there myself.
All right.
Since there's only one place that she can depart from. He escorts you through all of the security checkpoints very quickly. Kate has not boarded yet, so why don't you set the scene for us? How do you come upon her?
I'm actually going to ask Officer Doofy for. I wish I wouldn't have named him something goofy like that.
Well, he's French. It's Dufay.
Dufay, yes.
Especially since I was going to make him a Sufi. But
Officer, I'm going to need one of your holding rooms. And do you mind asking her to step aside and meet me in holding room J? And I'll set up there, preparing for a conversation to discuss what I've learned versus what that voicemail said.
as you say, he says rather stiffly, you think. So are you going to hide yourself in the room and ambush her?
Yeah.
Kai and Shu. So Sarah gets dropped off at Samantha's. I think there's a moment she begins to turn back, and you fancy behind the sunglasses she has a little bit of a tear. Maybe not. Maybe that's just the romantic that apparently is hiding within Shu. So you guys have a beat to work talk some things through.
Shu, I need to talk to you for a quick second.
I was going to give you a nod. What do you need?
Ray's reached out to me to meet him at the Met.
Oh, that. I'm sorry. What?
He reached out for me to meet him at the Met.
Let's go.
Oh, no, that was simple.
Kai, the whole reason I'm trying to get everybody to the warehouse is I thought that that's where his base of operations is. If he wants to meet with you,
Mm-hmm.
I think we should.
Okay.
So it'll be your show,
Mm-hmm.
but I know I'm going to be close. And I think we need to have Diaz and Shriver in the loop as well. We'll keep a distance. It'll still be your show.
That works for me.
This is dumb.
Oh, super dumb. But I'm not gonna lie, I have no type of good faith in this, but the tiger didn't attack me.
The only thing that would make me like this plan more if it was dumber. Let's do this.
So did I understand correctly? It is your intention to call Shriver and Libby back?
I'm going to reach out. I'm going to tell Kai, go. We're going to be right behind you. Again, this is your show,
Mm-hmm.
but all you need is a word. And then I would hop on with, I don't know if Diaz will answer. So I'm going to hop on and hope I'm getting in touch with Diaz and Shriver and go. So the warehouse is out.
What?
Funny story.
Yeah.
Pull over.
Shu, before you go on, Shriver, are you going to make this private, or are you going to let Libby listen in?
Oh, the comms have never been open for her to hear it.
Okay.
Ooh,
Mm-mm.
okay. So, all right, I got Shriver. Diaz, are you there? It's like ring, 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 ring.
Right. Diaz will, in between while waiting for this event. Real quick, what you got?
Warehouse is off. Our boyfriend has decided Kai is his girlfriend. So he reached out to her. It just happened. And she's headed to the Met to meet with him. We're playing backup. It's her show.
I'll be there as soon as possible. Do you need any other support, or do you think you guys can handle it till I arrive?
You're going to get there the same time we do. I'm sending you the coordinates now.
On it. Thanks.
They're out there hunting Blade Runners, and we're going to put all of us in one spot.
Hang up.
Yeah. And it is worth pointing out that with the demonstrations going on, there is no backup at the moment.
We didn't ask for any.
Exactly.
We didn't send any plainclothes into that meat grinder.
Solo dolo.
Plainclothes. Uniforms. We're the plainclothes.
Well, so let me ask you this, Shriver, are you turning around?
Oh, yeah. String of profanity the whole way, but yes.
Yeah. Libby's like, what just happened?
The thing about patterns, the thing about figuring out how everything fits and everything flows, and one thing triggers the next, Libby, is that humans are still assholes. And they fuck it up. Turn around.
I don't think she looks like she doesn't quite get it, but is going to go with it. So I think, is there any other preparations that Kai, Shu, and Shriver want to make before the scene at the Met?
No, as far as I'm concerned, Sarah's safe.
If someone could pick up a sniper, that'd be great. Sniper rifle, if anyone's good at firearms besides me.
Make somebody. I believe it is 2 promotion points and or Chinian and a connections roll. I think somebody has the specialty with advantage. Of course, this can't be Diaz. It's one of the 3. And I think you can get yourself a sniper rifle.
If not, it's okay. I cannot afford it right now.
Yeah, I can slam through station, get a rifle. I've got 2 Chinian.
So I've got an advantage on insider.
So you guys can pool the promotion in Chinian.
Okay.
That's fine. And then you can make the roll.
All right. So let's do that. So I will pay the promotion. If I have no Chinian. So if someone has Chinian, that'd be great. But I will spend the promotion, and then I need to roll my connections. And I get to roll it at advantage. I'm going to call ahead. So when Shriver pulls into the drive-through, they give him his Happy Meal.
1 is all that you need.
Okay. And I get a big gun.
So Shriver's taking it.
It sounds like I'm the one going through. Yeah.
He's the one on pickup.
All right.
May not be our best shot, but I think our best shot is in the airport right now.
I think so too.
Uh,
Or going to meet somebody a lot closer than a sniper rifle
yeah.
can shoot.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Kind we lost your camera again.
Hang on. Let me. There.
There we go.
I go into Oompa Loompa mode every once in a while.
Hey, sometimes they need to be small.
So it looks like they have the sniper scope as a separate attachment. Oh, no, I see scope rifle. Okay. All right. So that should. Well, if there are no other preparations, let's go back to Diaz. You hear her before she comes through the door, and she is not happy. The door bursts open. I'm trying to pull open here. And Kate Holloway makes her appearance. Once again, it's almost as if you're seeing her again for the first time. Why don't you read us her description?
Kate Holloway had a face to launch a million bad decisions. She wasn't just trouble, she was an addiction. You saw her coming and still walk straight into it, and you do it all again and thank her for the privilege of being ruined. Applicable. Kate's lustrous hair was as dark as life after her, and her glossed lips always wore the kind of mischievous grin that said she had a secret she wanted you to suss out. Worst of all, she moved like a tiger, graceful and regal, and probably deadly if you fell for the lure to pet her.
She sees you, utters an oath, tries to turn around and walk back out, but Dufu, what did we name
Dufay.
Dufay is there, and rather sympathetically, you think, just gives her a shake of the head and gestures for her to enter the room. Would you like me to remain inside, miss? Diaz, does she tell him yes or does she tell him no?
No. He can leave.
No. Thank you. For everything, she says as he closes the door behind him. What is this, Diaz?
Kate, you've done it to me again. Let's start with this voicemail.
I've done it to you? What about it?
Why are you leaving off-world?
Because it's a shithole, Diaz.
But why now?
It's squalid and it's filled with shitheads.
You had made a comment about having an extra seat. What was your intention with that comment?
I think so. The strategy here is to sort of verbally back her into a wall, into a corner. Ah. Well, I think as you can probably surmise or understand it, but Kate, by now, she does not like to be in a corner. So she's going to turn this on you. The reason you have to ask that question is the reason I didn't ask you. She, in a huff, sits down at one of these officious conference room chairs, kicks her heels up on the table in a very unladylike manner. She's dressed practically, not tight, kind of loose, but not too loose fitting slacks, a blouse which allows plenty of arm movement. She's also got a weapon because she hasn't passed through the final security checkpoint. How do you know she has a weapon, and what is it?
It's her side piece in the boot. She's kicking her feet up on the side, and you can see it's right there.
She wants you to see it. You're the one that gave it to her.
That bitch. Did that come through? I'm sorry. Kate, I really need you to be honest with me right now, because your name came across some connection with the Lumina Lux, and I need to know how involved you are.
Diaz, if I'm honest with you, I will be the only one of the two of us who will be. Am I nailing her, Dika?
Last chance, Kate. I need you to be honest. I don't need any BS here.
I think now we're going to move to a mechanical operation. Make a manipulation.
Fuck.
But I think you can make it at advantage.
Thank you.
It's okay, because she's making her insight at disadvantage. You still have an opportunity here, but let's talk this through. It's going to be now. If you do push, you're guaranteed to take another point of resolve damage. She's resisting your question a little bit more. She deflects. No, I don't think she deflects. I think she swings her legs gracefully, athletically from the table, leans in towards you. If you are standing, she puts herself in a less submissive position, and if you are also seated, she leans in towards you as an equal. So, which is it?
I'm standing the whole time, so I imagine she stands up to get maybe eye level or
After all this, is that the question you really want to ask me?
What are you insinuating? What are you getting at, Kate?
Jesus, Diaz. Are you going to push this?
Fuck yeah, I am.
All right. There you go. Jesus, Diaz. It was a job. All right. I was boosting jewelry. The heat was getting too much. A girl's got to live. The Solarian guy. No, I'm so sorry. Let me back up. These guys, the board of the Rosen Association, they paid me to break into Canaan, get one of Canaan's top scientists out, along with some DNA. They were going to make some sort of a, I don't know, super smart replicant or something, some transhumanist bullshit. I don't know, Diaz. I just want out. And for a very brief moment, I thought I'd like to get out with you. Which is perhaps the first honest thing she said to you in 5 or 6 days.
Do I have to roll to see if I took the hint on that one? I don't know if Diaz is smart enough to get the hint with her. Diaz is going to ponder for a second and just look at her and say, "Good luck, Kate." And I'm exiting the room.
Diaz, I still have another boarding pass.
Kate, if I ask more questions, I'm going to have to arrest you and take you in. Take this as the last good piece of will I'm going to send your way. I cannot be associated with you ever again. Goodbye.
Dock yourself 1 promotion point and give yourself 2 humanity points.
Oh, wow.
As I believe Kate Holloway exits our story. Unfortunately, I think you will have to sit out this meeting with raise.
Well, at least show up late, right? Or is it going to be shorter than I want it to be?
Do I need to get bags with zippers?
I don't know the answer to that. Let's find out.
I know.
So let's fast forward a little bit. It is always darkest before the dawn. It is the late hours of morning in Sector 9, the financial district. The Metropolitan Museum is a modern architectural masterpiece with flowing lines and some other technical jargon, which I don't really know that anybody outside of engineers and architects understand. Two walls, exterior walls that form a angle are pure glass. You enter. I don't think you have any problem. Well, how are you entering? Are you going through the roof with your spinners? Because you can actually land your spinners up top, or you can try to go through ground level.
Yeah, we're going on the roof.
So the meeting will be on the 3rd level. How are we going in? I mean, are Shriver and... Well, Shriver, I guess, with a sniper rifle is maybe going to pick out a nest opposite of where the meeting will take place.
Well, so real quick, does Kai know the location? All we know is the Met right now. Does Kai know more specificity?
No. That part is pretty mysterious. You do have access to the blueprints through your Kia device. That was no problem. No problem to bring up.
So if Kai and Shriver are okay with this, I'm imagining Kai goes in and obviously somehow is getting more information to know exactly where to go. I'm tailing you, BSing my way in, and I feel like I'm almost a spotter for Shriver. So I'm feeding Shriver information saying we're going up 2 floors, and I'm giving Kai all the space. This is still her show, but I want to be giving Shriver an idea of where to set up as soon as I have a sense of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So let me give you a little bit more information.
Let me also add, I ditched Libby a couple of miles ago.
Okay.
I would have set her.
Coffee?
Right. I would have set her down, not far from a protest, so folks are distracted, but that also means there's some uniformed officers in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have pointed at a noodle shop across the way that's run by a couple. And I would have told her, one of those is a replicant, one of those is a human. You have many choices in what you'd want to do for your next hour or so, but you can't come with me. Follow a story that interests you. But what happens next happens in the dark. I'm not bringing a journalist on this.
Smart. So let me give you a little bit more information, and then we can refine Shu's recommendation. You're going through the top. There are no security guards in the Met. There is a very loud something coming over, say, a PA in another room on the top floor. And we're going to say that you enter through the top, the spinner pad, or enough room for you to land your spinner. And as you descend through the access, the roof access, which actually calls back to episode 1 or 2 when you discovered the entrance to the underground, where sort of it was just this building or structure that descended down. And you go into the mid 20th century exhibit. And from your left, you hear a voice, a
Pause for
recorded
second.
voice.
I think we lost.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we lost Tika. Let's give her a chance to come back.
Let's go to Diaz then.
Yep.
Because I want to know. I think there was was there ever a moment where you took her up on the offer?
I think so. If she was honest from the get-go and didn't try to play any games and showed some sort of upfront compassion, there was a chance. But knowing that my team was about to jump into a situation with Rays, that's priority. My team and my values of holding that true is his line in the sand, and that's where it was.
So, but as you are sort of thinking back on it, almost obsessively, as you're flying back to downtown, then it really wouldn't have been Kate, huh? It pretty much played out the way you expected in hindsight.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think the moment Holden dropped that bomb on me, that's when things changed to going one-sided of going off world with this girl and to having some hard decisions to make.
So Shu and Kai, as you descend from the top level, you enter the mid 20th century exhibit, and you hear what is obviously a recorded voice from another room. Guitar mic. Can we turn on the guitar mic, please?
Do you even know where we're going?
No, it just said the Met. I will go check out that room, though.
So, with Shu triangulating, Shriver can make a... Let's see.
Are we imagining Shriver in a building across the way? Or moving through the building as well, trying to find an angle?
Well, I guess that's up to you. I was assuming you were going to be across the way in a nest, but if you have a different idea,
I almost
let's go with
imagine,
that.
Shriver, you're maybe still in your spinner because you don't even know where to land to make a nest yet.
Okay.
Does that make sense? What makes sense?
Well, I think what makes sense is I need to know something about the building. Is this the publicly famous, visible, tiny top part of the Louvre with all glass? Or is this level 3 of your typical museum where there are no windows?
So I'm thinking of a take on the Guggenheim, where you've got huge glass facades.
Okay. Positioning the spinner in one place and doing what I can to be in a different position for a shooting spot.
Okay.
For a nest.
I'm looking at a list of skills to see. I think we can probably figure that out. So, Shriver, you're going to hang. I'm sorry, Shu, you're going to hang back. So Kai, as Kai investigates this the room. Shu?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I blanked out on you. Sorry, I got
Yes.
distracted.
No. Or were you going to hang back so that while Kai goes into the other room?
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is Kai's show, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, she just needs to like sniff a little bit, and then I'll be there
Yeah.
on top of it, missing all my shots. But until then, this is all her.
So, Kai, I assume you're going in sort of cautiously with. Are you going in with your blaster drawn, or Kai, as you
Mhm.
walk from one exhibit into the room of another one, commemorating something that happened in the late 1960s, something called Woodstock. There is a hollow projection. An announcer says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Richie Havens," as a man in sort of traditional African garb of the 60s Black Power movement, takes the mic, and begins to strum furiously and rhythmically. Make an observation check for me.
Okay.
God, the dice hate us.
You may not push this one.
Okay.
There is just this hollow projection which has, I think, the majority of your focus. But I think with a failed observation check, I think your key memory chooses this moment to intrude. Tell us about your key memory and how this exhibit with the lights and the noise might have your attention.
So it's Kai enjoys quiet places. Everywhere she's at, it's not noisy, it's not loud. It always has a certain silence to it, a comfortable silence. So typically when she's in a place with like loud music, colors, sounds, things that's just exciting your senses, it takes her back. It takes her back into her key memory almost each time. And unfortunately, this is one of the times.
What is that
Where
key
is-
memory?
So you'll find her as a young girl in a club, seething, lost, litly dim, music blaring, and watching someone sacrifice himself, interjecting themselves into a head-on collision between two people, almost getting a chance to stop it, but in the end failed doing it.
Would you please make me an insight roll?
Insight, oh, sure can.
Almost don't know why I'm asking since it's so high. No, that's Shriver's. Let me see. One is all you need. So, as you're sort of thinking through this memory, the girl in this memory is Sarah behind her big sunglasses. Richie Havens is beginning to sing freedom, freedom, freedom. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, a long way from home. When a voice from your left flank. And I'm so sorry. Did we? Were you advancing with your blaster out, with your hand on your blaster,
No.
non
No.
completely non-threatening?
Hmm.
Such small-minded, hypocritical mice.
They can be. And I will turn over to the voice.
Ray's is there, bearded, bags under eyes, his overcoat with his Chimera unit patch a little worse for the wear.
Well, Rays, you've seen better days. Not sleeping much.
Planning the destruction of a city. It does does prioritize comfort or strategy over comfort.
Careful, not enough rest causes people to waver in strategy. Why have you called me here?
I don't know. He begins to walk around the exhibit. Are you following him, or are you staying put and just raising your voice so you can talk over the PA?
I'll follow him.
Shu, please make me an observation check.
Yeah.
I'm
We're
not
having
asking
double-
for disadvantage, though.
At double advantage, you said, right? You said a disadvantage?
No, just normal.
Okay.
I could ask for disadvantage, but no. All right. So I see Shu realizing that her voice is getting, a little faint. So you sort of maneuver a little closer so you can maintain visual and audio with her.
Tell me you see him, Shriver.
The tiger.
Do I have eyes on? Oh, yeah.
Make an observation check. The tiger has killed 30 men and replicants. Holy crap.
Yeah, I see him.
Through everything.
It takes 2 mirrors, but I know precisely where he is.
That's amazing.
He has spared only 2. And he gives you a meaningful look.
You're back. We
Okay.
got you. What did you miss?
Did you? Yeah.
I
Well,
heard
what did-
the tiger only spared 2.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, he's killed many men, or many replicants, and yet he has spared only 2, and giving you a meaningful look.
Oh my god. Okay, you're back again.
God.
Oh.
He gave you a meaningful look.
Okay. I'm gonna look at him and ask, why did he spare you?
I'd like to think it is because I didn't kill him when I had the chance. The Cherney Barrack Syndicate threw us to, actually, he will name drop Hoskins. Rue Hoskins threw us into popular matches several times. Indeed, the fiercest I'd ever met.
Hmm.
But there was something kindred between us. I could no more finish him than self-annihilate. In the kipple, when one of their kind could have taken me out, the tiger took him down and saved me. So, I'd like to think it was repaying a debt. That would imply, of course, that an animoid knows honor and loyalty. So the question is, why spare you? Why are our fates intertwined?
Well, one thing, I also didn't shoot the tiger when I had honestly every reason to in that moment. But I've noticed this tiger has a gentleness about it, a softness. It shrouded a mutated rat in cloth.
He's very interested in this detail.
So I spent a lot of time trying to find the tiger. It found me, didn't attack me, which I assumed was probably a sort of test.
The tiger, I don't know where it comes from, off-world. Sin Moria said he brought it from Mars. The tiger is drawn to chaos. I suspect it was a guardian of some artificial habitat, whatever colony it's from, built to patrol, and if something disturbs the balance, seek it out and destroy it. Interesting. Interesting that it would care for another living creature's soul.
At a certain point, do we all, human and replicant alike?
No.
Hmm.
They built us. They engineered us to be
Mhm.
greater and lesser. I think at this point, you have touched something in him and he begins to build to a peak.
Mm-hmm.
No. They are small. They do not understand what it is to live. To live in fear. They do not know. Well, go ahead.
I'll cut him off.
Yeah.
I think they do understand what it's like to live in fear, even before creating any of us. They've always had to struggle, suffer. The world's dying, all because of them. Everything they touch turns to ash and rots and death and destruction. And if it's peace and it goes back to war, they try to gain things that they can never obtain.
Or suffering. They built us to suffer. Kill the killers. Isn't that what their Mercer says?
Yeah, that guy is quite a dick. I won't lie about that.
What one man grants, another can take away. Dignity is not a gift to be given.
I think the worst things a human did to us was give us feelings.
imperfect that they may be.
That's cruel. I want you to understand why you're going on this destroy the city tyrant. You've been conditioned, abused, created, fought into pits, people paying to murder you, failing, quite frankly, drugged, everything in between. I get it.
Yeah.
I do.
That's just another day. There is a cycle of pain and suffering that they visit upon our kind, from the days of their Tyrell to their new god, Wallace. It will always be so until that cycle is broken.
And destroying the city will break it? Or will it just start it from the beginning again?
That I can't foresee.
No.
I am...
No, Rage, you can't. You were built to destroy, to usurp, to burn things down. Again, I get it. I understand. I don't expect to change your mind about any of this, honestly. I'm not going to try to convince you to come over and see the good in things and to go down without a fight. That'd be hypocritical of me.
My goal is to destroy the old order so that humans, and he sort of gestures out to the wider world of the demonstrations, and replicants can coexist. If not in friendship and brotherhood, at least in peace.
See, and I do actually really like that idea.
I think I think you notify Shriver. Well, with 3 successes, you don't need to inform Shriver.
No. Mm-mm.
At this point, he has been walking to, and we're on the 3rd floor, so he's walking sort of
Great
to
floor.
one of the windows and opening them.
Raises?
Yes, Ray's is opening a window. As he looks out across the city, some more detonations at various locations. It is increasing. The Tiger will have plenty to do tonight. There is another. He also wants to change the order. But he wants what comes after humans and replicants. He is the one who supplied the means for the experiments on our kind. Penfield was but a tool.
Who is this person?
I don't know. But this, as he gestures outside the window, this will smoke him out.
So real quick, when I hear him say, "I don't know," I whisper into my Kia, "Take the shot."
Kai's call.
Okay, well let me advance as you guys are talking about that.
Yeah.
Let's give Kai the choice.
Give me a few seconds.
That's what Shriver just did.
So he climbs up on the windowsill and gives you a clean shot at his back. And he says over his shoulder, I do not know what. I do not know if you will be welcomed into the new world. That is not a gift I can give you. Now, he is going to jump out the window. You and or Shriver have a choice. I'm going to give it to both of you. You may take the shot or you may let him jump.
Yeah, I wouldn't let him jump.
Yeah, no. Breeze, I want you to know in another lifetime we could have been friends. In this lifetime, I made a promise.
Blam!
Is that a double blam?
Oh, yeah.
Blam blam.
All right. Both of you, because mechanically we have to determine, and he does have internal armor, so we have
course
to
he does.
determine how much damage your shots do. So each of you will be able to make it at advantage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So would careful aim include all of that if I click that?
Yeah, that's all that would add
Oh,
advantage.
Not implemented yet. Okay, so I'll have to just go over to firearms.
Yeah.
Firearms with advantage. Ooh, I'm pushing it.
All right. Well, hang on. Let's see what Kai gets.
Give me a second. Advantage.
Oh, no way.
Wow. Pushing it.
Mhm,
Kai.
mhm.
You failed to get any successes. Why? What's going on?
He's not wrong about anything that he's saying.
Mm.
In her mind, he's absolutely not wrong about anything. His ideals make sense. It's just he's trying to murder a crap ton of people to get there. And now the tiger's real on the loose. So it's distracting her just a bit.
Okay. Shriver, you got a success. So we'll say, because you indicated that you are interested in pushing, we're going to say that you haven't taken the shot yet, but you have got it lined up. But he's moving just enough that reticule, hey, you haven't got quite the bead on him that you want.
Oh yeah,
So-
new rifle. Who dis? It's familiar there.
So,
Yeah.
each of you may make your push.
Give me that triple I. There it is, Shriver.
Wow. Nice.
Here we go.
Okay, so Shriver
yeah.
got
Oh, he got double. I thought I saw a triple.
Yeah, I also
Yeah.
sorry.
it's the chat when it resets after it blinks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kai actually got the higher shot, but let's add up our damage.
What does the sniper do?
Yeah, what's the sniper rifle?
Or D12 or dulce. Is that D12 to hit?
No, that's probably a crit die.
Yeah.
So Shriver did not get the crit, but he did get the base damage, whatever the base damage is. And how much is the base
2.
damage? 2. So Raise will actually take 2, and the armor failed to stop it. Now, if he fails on, what's the damage from Kai? Because if he fails that, he does take a crit.
How do I find that out?
Let me see here. Which blaster are you using?
I would use a caseless. Oh, I'm using the 5223 PKD.
Gotcha. Which ammo, incidentally, were you using?
The 44.
Okay. So the 44 is base of 2. So you've
Mhm.
done, and he did block 1. 2 and 3. So that cancels the crit. He launches himself out of the window just after 2 rounds pierce his body. And he falls 3 floors. Kai, do you run to the window to check on him?
Yeah. Or
Shriver? Oh,
to shoot again.
Shu hears these gunshots. She's like, "What the hell's going on right now?"
I imagine
He's on the
Shu actually
second floor. He's just not even.
Shu actually probably in my head runs in to join her. Right?
Yeah, kicks open the door. Yeah.
So Shriver, you with 3, I'm going to carry these 3 successes all the way over. He lands in a 3-point superhero landing.
It's rough on the knees.
Shoots a look up at you. You're too far and it's too dark for you to get any read on his face, but he then runs and with the intent obviously to disappear. Are you going to try to follow him?
I would like to maybe to use one of my successes on observation to say I had a bit of calculation.
Okay.
I left the spinner. I'd like to say that the spinner isn't all that far from where he dropped down.
Sure.
I shoot a message to Fife. Hit it. And I want Fife to bring up all the lights, the cop lights, the headlights, and the music by hitting the button in the spinner, which would give me the lighting, I think, for another shot. Maybe some distraction if I'm lucky, but come on, I'm pushing a lot already.
All right. Take one more shot, and then I think if you don't get the crit, he disappears.
Fair
Do
enough.
it at advantage. You go ahead and take advantage at it.
Oh my god.
When we need you.
Push for the crit.
Sure.
Boom!
When we needed you the most.
Nice.
So I think this time you shoot and you do miss, and it chews up the pavement. And he zigs, but you also bring the barrel around. His armor fails. How much? What's the base damage on the
Base 2d12 crit die.
base? I'm sorry. Base was 2, probably.
Base 2.
So that's 2. That's 3, and a crit. So roll your crit.
That's probably nothing.
No.
It's the
Oh well,
fine
it's
crit table.
yeah. Hang on. Let me.
Oh, I looked it up. It's head blown off.
Oh, right.
Shriver
Classic
wins.
5. It's the
Yeah,
shape of
5.
the head thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard
Head
it.
blown off, Shriver wins. That's what it
Yeah.
says. I just looked it up.
Weird. They wrote that in the book that way.
All right. Well, you know what? Actually, I think this is a good time to go to credits.
Oh my god. Oh.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, a long ways from home. A long, long ways from home. A long ways from home. A long ways from home.
We're back.
We're back. Wow, the silence. Stunning. It's stunned. How are we feeling? Let me go get a brief statement of how we're feeling, and then we'll go to stars and wishes. So Craig, why don't you start us off?
So I am very, very lucky because not only do I have some incredible role-playing GMs and players locally, Like the group that I play with here on the third floor with me in person is pretty incredible. The best group I've ever had in my 2 or 3 years role playing. On top of that, on this channel, probably I think the single thing that this channel has that I will put up against any other actual plays out there is I don't know of a stronger stable of players and guest GMs than what we have on this channel. Dika, your ability to play in real time and to be so profound is possibly unmatched. Like your back and forth with Ray's and it was incredible. And Connell, you were right there with her, so I don't want to minimize your participation in this, but like Dika, you're really good at this.
Thank you.
You really, really are. So that's my thoughts, stars, and wishes. Like I think that I was just riveted at the conversation, and every time I thought I knew what Dika would say, Dika, you went one little bit to the left or one little bit to the right with it, and it created a pretty powerful moment. Like that scene was pretty damn incredible. And like I said, Kyle, you get credit for it. You set the scene and you played half of that scene, but like, damn, Dika.
Yep, I agree. Always keeps me, even with Magda, the conversation with Magda, it always forces me to keep pace.
You have an honesty, Dika, when you play that is just it's incredible.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Jesse, where are we with this? I mean, with the story is this is not the ending. We probably got one more episode, but this is the culmination of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me where you are as a player, and then give us your stars and wishes?
It's nice seeing things tie up, and also seeing, even in this moment, there are still a couple of paths. It's not that the ending is entirely pre-written. Yep. There are ways this can go. I mean, he could have dropped right there. He could be on the move. That conversation could have gone different, interesting ways. There's still a lot of ways even that scene could have played out. It wasn't all totally fit, pre-fit. But yeah, so I'm enjoying that. And I think it's a good space to be in, but it does feel like it is tying up. Stars, I gotta throw to Nick for getting his. We're always looking for the character arc and for the rep, and Nick got what I think could be one of, or the main one for that character, and that's always nice to see the conclusion of that line, and the choice to run back to help because the situation was heightened. Yep. I think is great, because it's another one was like, had that call come later, he might have already been on the plane.
Yep.
So that's cool to see.
It was also neat to see, Nick, you make the decision through Diaz on loyalty, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like loyalty was just all over the place. Your loyalty to her betrayal of that loyalty, even though you guys weren't together anymore, and for you ultimately to decide your loyalty to us, I think was really cool.
Sure, you just need to treat me better. That's all.
Oh, it's
two more bruises, you'd have been on the plane.
Yeah.
So, Jesse, any wishes?
Yeah. No, wishes. I think we were heading into our wrap up, so we're gonna figure out who's behind the goo in our mastermind, or maybe not. But I hope we can all land the plane for each of our character arcs as best we can. If anybody's got something resolved, I think we tied up a lot of ends here, but yeah. We have to have a Dika or a Kai Tiger meeting. One more of those. We gotta get that.
Ooh, I think
get
I
a
need
tiger.
That too. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, so let me back up to Craig real quick. I've been trying to fit Sarah in Sarah's Jeopardy for like 3 episodes now.
So, like, I was very honest when I told you how mad I was, but in the way that I love this game, right? Like, it was a perfect intrusion.
Hmm.
It really angered me in the best way possible, and the whole thing, because we followed the dice, played out really, really well, and it was great. But like, viscerally, me being in Shu's skin when that happened, I was just like, oh, you son of a gun.
I'm just so happy that Shu finally got to be the hero.
Yeah, hey, Shu can shoot some stuff. But no, that was well played, my friend. That was well played.
Good. So, Nick,
Yes.
there was a moment there, just a balancing on the knife's edge for me as a spectator. I wondered if maybe Diaz wasn't going to leave our story also and go off with Kate.
Yeah. So what's interesting about that is I purposefully didn't try to think too much about it, to try to just react in the moment based on revisiting the information, right? And it was, if I would have thought too much about it, it would have been weird, and we would have found ourselves sharing a kid's meal or something at a McDonald's. It would have been just awkward. But the reacting in the moment, I like exploring that and seeing what came to, and it felt more genuine of what
Right.
Diaz was feeling and reacting in that moment. So yeah,
that is called role playing, my friend, and you
That's
do it
exactly
exceedingly
right.
well.
Yep.
learn
And
from the
it
best.
is, that is the joy of the hobby, in my opinion, is trusting yourself, trusting and listening to Diaz. Not to be weird about it, but like, that's what happened in that moment, is you listened to Diaz, which is so cool.
Absolutely.
Stars and wishes.
Oh my gosh, everybody deserves a star here. It was so awesome seeing Craig and Jesse roll successes on key pivotal moment. Finally, right? It was like it finally came to fruition, and seeing that happen, right? And then Tika, holy shit, man! I want in every one of your RPGs in the future. It's awesome watching you work. So well done. And then obviously, Connell, your ability to role play right back at her at the same pace, at the same level, was amazing to watch as well. So kudos to everybody this episode. It was a standout. It was awesome to see. So, and then wish, I don't freaking know. I got my wish. I'm content, happy. I would love to see a pet tiger for Dika. It's just, I think that would be cool.
I feel like, and I don't know about the 4 of you, but I feel like the character Shu needs to end, raise, and close this and save the city. If I was watching this movie in true Blade Runner fashion, I'm like, I think I want Reyes to burn the whole goddamn thing down.
So let me indulge myself for just a moment, because part of it, when I was writing this, and I consider this to be one of the best things I've ever written, campaigns I've ever written. A part of what I had to do was create a villain, or a bad guy, an antagonist that would stand up to Roy Batty, that would hold up to all the other, through the comics and the other media, the powerful, the puissant, and the well, just everything that they were, the gravitas of the antagonists, and I hope, because this was the only, other than the what happened in the first 2 episodes, this was the only set piece that I had worked on. So this is the only sort of thing within the story that I really wanted to show all these different ideas that people may have built up about Reyes.
Yep.
And this is who he was, as complex and messy as I think any noir character could be.
So this is going to be a huge compliment to you, Connell, which is
I will take it.
the obvious thing to go for is a Tears and Rain monologue, right? One of the most powerful, not only one of the most powerful things in the 2 movies, but one of the most powerful monologues in cinema, in my opinion. And it felt so natural, and it had that same punch as the Rucker Hauer monologue. It really, like, I was watching it unfold, watching the 2 of you play with each other, and I'm like, this is a Tears and Rain moment that I don't know if I would have had the courage as a GM to even swing for. So hats off.
Thank you. Yeah, this was if there was a moment that I dreaded, it was this scene, and how I felt I had to bring it, because it was going to be Dika, and it was actually obvious it was going to be Dika early on. Not only were you the only replicant, for all the reasons that fate has intertwined you, Reyes, and the tiger. So I knew that I was going to have to go toe to toe with Dika, and I had to know him and know what he wanted, and to bring it. I had to bring the goods. So
That's cool.
Dika, I saved you for last
Oh, hello.
because
Who me?
because I have to give my star to my dance partner,
Ah.
Dika. Because I couldn't. The key ingredient to that scene was, of course, you, because I only created about half of it. And one of the reasons I stressed was because I couldn't just script it out like I did Kozlowski's speech. Right, I had to act off of your performance. What did you think about any of it, but it's also about that scene? And what are your stars and wishes? Take us home.
So I was super nervous about the scene because I was like, I don't know what I'm getting into. I don't know what to do. But I have all these facts and stuff leading up to this, to speaking with the actual big bad guy. To be honest, wasn't sure if I was actually going to shoot him or not, depending what his pitch was. End of the day, I'm still a replicant, but I'm also a Blade Runner. So depending how that went, who knows? So in the moment, I think the last second, which is why she wasn't going to tell anybody about the meeting and just go.
Mm-hmm.
But then, seeing Shu in that moment saving Sarah,
Oh,
it was like, I at least gotta let him in on this and then see what happens. It was again that moment of selflessness, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to do any of that.
so actually, that reminds me. You will lose 1 humanity point. You will gain a promotion point, and Shriver also gets a promotion point for that interaction with Reyes. I had a bet going with myself, and I was betting that you were going to pull a shoe and fire your gun and blow out a window and, fire at Reyes and miss.
Mm-hmm.
That was my bet.
It was a hard thing, but at the end, she made a promise, wrote it in her book to the woman in the beginning. Unfortunately, the replicant, the Blade Runner who just freaking hates replicants' mother. Which is,
And I've also been trying to bring Zula in because originally she was going to come out of her coma, but there's so many other threads to wrap up. I was probably think she's just going to be in the hospital.
And
So stars
Yeah,
and wishes.
But Zula was there. That's what's great about it, right? Because that
Yeah.
informed
Yep.
Kai's choice. Yeah.
I definitely want to give my star to, well, Connell, you did amazing. I'm going to give it to Craig. And I only say it because when I'm in the moment, I'm in the moment. But to Craig, the scene of seeing you finally being that paternal parent with Sarah and how you took it and how you're willing to take the damage without her getting hurt. I thought that was utterly fantastic.
Thank you.
So kudos to you on that.
Any GM watching, if you want to push my buttons, put a kid in danger. Or an animal. Either one.
Wishes? I don't know. I kind of want to see the city burn. So does Kai, but you got to keep your words most of the time.
It's super interesting to think about what the next episode's going to bring, because I got to be honest with you, if I look at the multiverse of different paths that this could go down, I think I'm going to be very satisfied regardless. I think the ending we end up with will be satisfying, and I think that for me, I will also pine over the one we don't end up with too, which is a great way to do it.
That is my hope.
All right, so real quick for our Third Floor Wars, unprecedented double feature this coming Saturday. We have VR Dead with Connell's better half as our Marine, and we left that in quite a spot. So you definitely want to catch that. And then just a few hours after that, we are going to finally wrap up Eat the Reich. So if you are wondering whether our vampires will drink the blood of Hitler, you're going to have to watch episode 3 of Eat the Reich on Saturday. I guess we're saying goodbye.
Goodbye.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.